right, this episode's guest, Tom and Zeus, host of the Shout It Out Loudcast. They are the authors of the brand new book, Raise Your Glasses, a celebration of 50 years of Kiss songs by celebrities, musicians, and fans. Ooh. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah,
Love
man.
being here. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we got to thank, for those just listening on audio, I'm putting up the book by James Campion. Our friend James hooked this up.
Yes, James is the best.
Yeah,
he's the man.
He is.
Yeah, he's been so nice to us and generous. Has become a good friend of the show.
Yeah,
they don't get better as a guest. I mean, he puts everything into being a guest. It's like an art form for him. I love it.
It was great, and we were lucky enough to spend some time with him when we were all in New York City last year for the final Kiss show, Madison Square Garden. We met up with James, had lunch, sat down with him. So yeah, he's great. We love James.
I remember you mentioned that. So yeah, free plug to his book, Shout It Out Loud, the story of Kiss's destroyer and the making of an American icon. Kick-ass book. So this, you guys have to be psyched. I was looking at Amazon. It's like across the board, 5 stars. Like,
yeah.
Is this the first book you've ever written?
First time we've ever even approached the idea of a book. Yes.
Yeah. So tell me how this all came about. How long ago did the idea?
Okay, so I'll take this one. So the idea came about probably about 2 years ago. Okay, and what happened was whenever we have guests on the show, we always do like some introductory kind of icebreaker Kiss questions. You know, favorite art, favorite member, favorite song, favorite album, favorite Kiss memory, whatever. And Zeus, I give him all the credit in the world. He came to me and he said, "What if we took all of this great information that we get from these great guests, put it together into a book, and just cover the entire Kiss discography?" So I was like, okay, let's slow down. Let's talk about this. First of all, I'm in. And then he said, let's get all of the people that we've had on. Let's get more guests. Let's just try to get as many people as we can. We ended up getting over 116 people contributing to the book. Mm-hmm. And we said, let's do every Kiss song in chronological order from every Kiss album with people's insights, thoughts, feelings, emotion, anecdotes, nostalgia, everything, and create a Kiss book that literally doesn't exist anywhere else with all the Kiss books. As great and as wonderful as James's book is, that's James's book about the history of Destroyer. There's no book like this that we put together. And again, I give credit to Zeus for kind of coming up with the idea. We brought Joey on board because Joey has history with writing books. He wrote an autobiography, wrote a couple of other books. So the three of us together figured we'd just be a dream team. And thankfully it looks like it came out that way.
Joey Casada. We want to give him
Joey Casada. Yes. You don't have to give him any props. It's okay. He knows.
And who's Sonny Pooney? That's the best. I love.
Oh God. He's not part of the book. He's in the book. He's in the book.
I listen to you guys all the time, man. And the best was Chris Jericho. Who the fuck is Sonny Pooney?
Oh yeah. He loved that one. Yeah, Jericho's in the book. Yep,
he's in the book. Yeah, well, let's talk about that. How's it laid? Well, you tell me how it's laid out. Who are some of the people that we have in here? We got members of the band. We got some famous folks like Chris Jericho.
Yep, Zeus. You want to go ahead there?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of these people are guests, and for a while, people were wondering, Jesus, you guys get a lot of your episodes are filled with guests. Well, there was a purpose for that.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to come on the show? By the way, we got a book we're thinking about. And
oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll shoot you some names. Okay. So we got Ace on our show and we asked Ace some song questions. So Ace is in there. We got Ace Von Johnson from LA Guns. We've got Adam Mitchell, the Kiss songwriter, Amit Zappa, Allison Hagendorf, who did the last Kiss show in New York, was the host in New York. Brian Tichy, who's now part of Gene's band. Britt Lightning from Vixen. The great Bruce Kulick, who does the foreword.
He did the foreword.
Kiss member. He's amazing. Bully Ray, the wrestler. Carmine Appice, the legendary drummer. Another legendary drummer, Charlie Benante. Jericho. We got Craig Gass, the comedian. We got the Demon, the wrestler, Dale Torborg. We've got Dave LaGreca, his partner on Busted Open podcast. We got Desmond Child. Yes, Desmond Child. Took time out of after promoting his book to come on, and that was a great that's a great side story about getting Desmond. Eddie Trunk. I asked Gene a question at an event, so I got Gene to do it. The great Graham Bonnet of Rainbow. You got Greg Prato, who you mentioned, the author. the incredible Holly Knight.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That writer, Holly Knight. Yes.
Yep.
He's got some great insight. The comedian Hal Sparks. You've got Jason Hook, Five Finger Death Punch. The John Beauvoir, who wrote songs with Kiss. Joe Lynn Turner of Rainbow.
Yep.
We've got Loretta Carr, Eric Carr, the late great Eric Carr's sister, come in. Martin Popoff, Mitch Weissman, another songwriter from Kiss, right? We have Pete Dankelson, part of Pete's Diary right now. He's all over performing these days. We had somebody from Flush.
Yep.
Bella Perron. Yeah, you know Pete Dankelson, I think, Tom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Portnoy, Mike Portnoy, too.
Yep. Mike Portnoy. Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit this alphabetically, so I'm trying not to forget. And then you got Rudy Sarzo, the guys from Sisters Doll. Steve Vai made a contribution. Wes Beach from the Plasmatics. William Starkey, the founder of the Kiss Army. The great Zach Throne, who's now performing with Jerry Cantrell out there. Bobby Rock from Vinnie Vincent's band. A bunch of the guys from Quarantine, comedian Don Jameson, wrestler Kazarian, Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake. You got Kent Sluker is also Quarantine. Matt Starr, who's played with a bunch of people, including Ace. And you got PJ Farley, who's in about 15,000 bands, including Trickster and Fozzy. Roxy Petrucci, who's in Vixen. Steve Brown, who just produced Ace's album and part of Trickster. And the great Todd Kearns. Those are just some of them.
just a few, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so cool. What was I going to say? The Ace Frehley. I wanted to tell you Ace Frehley story. I worked in radio for many years, worked up in Fairfield County, and Ace was a friend of my friend Sean, who's one of the DJs at the station, and he had Ace stories. I couldn't wait every time this is when Ace was still, throwing them back, and he'd go to the city and party with Ace, and the stories were endless. I mean, there's a famous one, driving down the freeway the wrong way, but he would say he'd be at a club and Ace would be so hammered that he'd get it, the band playing, come on, Ace, come on up and jam with us. And Ace was so fucked up, and he was just nothing but feedback. He's trying to I mean, just the Ace stories are endless. I mean, and you guys the Ace impression it's the greatest. It's the greatest impression ever. Zeus, when did that start? When was the first time you did your Ace impression?
I remember sometime there was like a YouTube clip where he would always pronounce his name the correct way it should be pronounced.
Frehley.
Ace Frehley. And then there was this other video that Ace was on this couch. I won't get into the too graphic stuff.
Yeah.
But Ace was on the couch, and the interview had this wicked thick British accent. And he was like reading readers' questions to Ace. And one of the questions was, and it was so blunt the way the guy did. He says, Paul Stanley, have you ever seen him?
Yeah.
You want to edit this out?
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
He goes, have you ever seen him suck a cock? He's just sitting back like this. No. Is that what he does? Dude, if somebody asked me, does my friend Tom suck a cock? My answer would be, is that what he does? I don't care what you do in your own free time. You could be in love with a parakeet for all I care.
Oh my God.
But Eric, that's what started.
That's what started it.
Story.
Yep.
And then we just get into everything that we do is just over the top silliness. And so now our Ace character can't control his bowels. So every other day he's having accidents.
And then one of the funniest and then one of the funniest things of our show is last fall, this time of the year, I had a shed built in my backyard. So all of a sudden it just became, that's where Ace is going to live now. He's going to live in my shed. So it's
because we almost saw him in Nashville and we were saying, hey, Tom, you mind if I crash here a bit? I got nowhere else to stay. And so it became now Ace sleeps in Tom's shed. And there were always occasional new people.
And then
Shout Out Loudcast group. They'll be like, what's this thing about Ace sleeping in someone's shed? Dude, it's a joke. It's not real.
And then it took off even more because we had the lovely ladies of the band Plush on.
Yeah.
And Bella was telling us a story about how her family knows Ace, and they refer
it wasn't
to him.
Bella. It was the other one. It was the bassist, the blonde girl.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's Ashley.
Yes, I'm sorry, Ashley. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that correction. And she was saying how Ace is a family friend and how they refer to him as Uncle Ace. I said to Zeus, I'm like, that's a TV show right there. Uncle Ace is a TV
Oh my
show.
God.
So,
Uncle Ace has to watch the kids on the weekend.
Leaving your kids
you
with
fill that
Ace.
up with tequila.
It's like fucking Uncle Buck.
that's exactly. And then we started doing stuff like the dating game with Ace Frehley, and it just gets out of control.
Bachelorette number 2.
But my buddy Sean was at that. Was it Gene's birthday party? No, it was Ace's birthday party.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard the story where Gene shows up with a birthday cake, and as he's walking in, Ace is just shitting all over Gene. Like, he never wrote a song. I wrote all the fucking songs.
That's all he does. Yeah, that's all he does.
Gene just came walking in like he's just jaw dropped. Like, okay,
Yep.
He was there that night. I think that made headlines.
Oh yeah, Ace. I think Ace just did a brand new interview with Goldmine magazine just recently, because it's hard to keep up. Zeus and I talk about this. It's hard to know what is a recent interview and what is something old that some of these online publications are like promoting for, you know what I mean? So we'll see these headlines and we'll click on it and be like, oh, that's from like 2 years ago. But I do think Ace just did do a brand new one with Goldmine magazine.
I mean,
he likes to stir shit up.
Yes.
So along the way, for a lot of people that love Kiss, I am one of them.
Yep.
I find him to be insufferable these days.
Yeah,
shut the fuck
he's
up.
like a loose cannon now. He's
just shut up, dude.
Yeah.
And it's the same stories.
You couldn't play on the End of the Road tour. There's no fucking way you could have played on that. And it just, everything is like a personal attack. And yeah, those guys used to say you were a drunk and a drug addict, but you were.
You were.
Right. But so it is what it is. Let it go. But he just drudges it up. And that's part of the problem why we wanted to write the book. See, I'm going to circle back.
That's right.
Because everything of Kiss is all about, oh, Ace said this about Gene. Oh, they're going to have fireworks. Oh, is Paul lip syncing? Oh, is this going on? To us, the forgotten part of the greatness of Kiss is the music.
Yep.
Thank you.
The songs.
So we wanted to write a book where we're not talking about, oh, Ace showed up for the rehearsal and he had one sneaker color and the other. Oh, and then they fired Peter in 1980. Like, we wanted to get to the music. Yep. We've heard the other stories. There's no book that's just breaking down all the greatness that's on Paul Stanley's 78 solo album, or all the deep cuts off of Animalize. Like, that's the shit we like. We all know why everybody thinks of Cold Gin, Detroit Rock City, and thing. We want to hit all the deep cuts, and that's what this book is about.
Yeah, you're speaking to me because I'm that Kiss fan who thinks that Paul's a great songwriter, who thinks that Ace is a kick-ass guitarist, who thinks Gene is a great bassist and a great vocalist. So, and Paul, one of the greatest voices in rock history. But it's the songs that stand up; they stand the test of time, and that was a question I was going to ask in a little while about why you think. Why people don't feel that way. Maybe it's because of the makeup and all that, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, the chemistry that you guys have on the podcast, having worked in radio, I know it's like, you don't just throw two people in a room and say, hey, it's going to work. So you guys went to school together. You went to college together, right? You met in college.
That's right.
It reminds me so much of my friend, Mike. We were roommates in college. It's the same sense of humor. So there's that chemistry there, but then you have to transfer that over to a microphone, knowing that people are listening. So that makes a difference too. It's like you have to be a little fearless. You just say whatever you want to say. But talk about what led to the podcast. When did it start?
I'll start this one, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead, Zeus. Go ahead.
So for us, Tom was listening to podcasts. I knew nothing about it. At some point, he told me about podcasts and Kiss podcasts. And I'm like, holy shit, I can listen about someone talking about Kiss anytime I want. Just press a button.
Yeah.
And I'm looking through it. So I'm like, oh my God, people are talking about, Destroyer. People are talking about this. And I listen to it. And while I enjoy it, because I think if you have a Kiss podcast, you have a captivating audience of at least 1,000 people. At least 1,000 people will listen to your podcast if it's about Kiss, no matter how bad you are. But Can you do better? So I listened to that and I'm like, you know what? And he was telling me, what if we do one? Okay. But I don't want to do it like this. No offense.
No.
After the topic, I'm like, this is kind of boring. This isn't like, Kiss is funny. Kiss is silly. Kiss is like awesome music. Like, it's got to be like, I want to listen to them, even when they talk about the worst Kiss song of all time. Hold me, touch me, feel me, whatever the fuck it's called. But like, I want to listen to the people. And we took our personality and said, let's make, like Kiss, the podcast that we wanted to listen to.
Yep.
I'll let you take over, Tom.
Well, it's like sports talk radio, but for Kiss.
Yeah. No, it's true because we're not gonna name names, but there are a ton of Kiss podcasts out there, and some of them are better than others, just like any other medium out there in entertainment. And the good ones, do a really great job of what they do. We like to say that there's no other Kiss book like Raise Your Glasses, and there's no other Kiss podcast like Shout It Out Loudcast. And Zeus and I said, if we're gonna do this, we know how we are as friends and we know our personalities. We have to do this the way we want to do it and be ourselves. And if people listen and tune in and are entertained, that is fantastic. If not, we'll see what happens there. But luckily, we're almost hitting our 300th episode. People love the show. The audience is growing. We published a book, and we said, like Zeus said, it's Kiss. We love Kiss. We wouldn't have spent almost our entire life listening to them and studying every little nook and cranny, but there's a lot to kind of joke about them. Some of the things they do, some of the things they say, some of the lyrics they write, some of the songs that they've put out there. And if you can't have fun with Kiss, then you're kind of missing the point. We're not breaking down Vietnam or the Korean War or, nuclear, we're talking about Kiss. Let's have some fun and poke fun while still loving the band.
Yes. I would imagine in the beginning you had to weed out some of those people though that were like emailing you like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, I think there was some people at first that were like, oh wow, new Kiss podcast. Oh, these guys don't sound like anybody we've ever heard before. You know.
So we don't just get that then, we get that now.
We still we do get them. We get that now.
So we'll get people like we've branched out. We do the album review crew, which is about any album. We do it once a month, non-Kiss. And we just did one on Wasp, for instance.
Oh my God!
Okay, Wasp.
It's fine.
But I'm like, this is fucking for people that think Ace Frehley lyrics are too sophisticated. This is fucking beyond stupid lyrics. And some of the shit, I'm like, and so I say these things, and you would think I insulted the Virgin Mary.
Oh God!
What the fuck? How do two Kiss fans shit on Wasp? Wasp is incredible. What the fuck is wrong? Hey, I had to shut this off. I've been listening to you for 5 years. We still get shit like that. Okay,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We had people saying to Shout It Out Loudcast. You guys are my favorite podcast. I couldn't listen to this episode. Like, dude, it's Wasp.
But that's how we come
Wasp.
to these things.
Like, they have a song. They have a song called "Fuck Like a Beast." It's Wasp. It's okay to make fun of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're not insulting the listeners being by you're the worst fucking talent if you think this is good. We're just like, we went through the list and everybody says a turn. I just think this is fucking ridiculously horrendous, some of the songs. But okay, to each own. So we'll get that. Oh, you guys love Paul Stanley, you hate Ace. Oh, you guys always shit on fucking Paul. You got apparently we shit on everybody.
Yeah, right.
But
which we do. We're equal opportunity. If Paul deserves to be shit on, we'll shit on him. If he deserves to be praised, we'll praise him. Same thing with Gene and Ace and Bruce and Vinny and everybody.
But something works because for the last 4 years we're the #1 ranked Kiss podcast.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yep. You're tapping into something. Yep. So let's get to the book. So let's go through some of the albums. I don't want to keep you guys too long here. We're just kind of go through each album, just get your comments on each. I mean, we know it took the third, it was the live album where the band finally takes off. It's their fourth album altogether with Destroyer where they really take off. But those first three albums, they're really good. It's just that for whatever reason, they didn't take off. But let's start with the self-titled debut, which is from 74. Strutter, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Deuce, 100,000 Years in Black Diamond, all from this one album.
Yep.
all Kiss classics. And you write in the book, quote, Kiss's self-titled debut album is a testament to the power of rock and roll and the enduring appeal of a band that would go on to become rock legends. Now, if this album comes out as the follow-up to Destroyer rather than a time when they were unknown, how does this album fare? I'm saying multi-platinum if the timing was different.
I think it's a great question. We love Kiss questions, but yeah, you're right. If it came out, if they had already had the groundwork laid with something as quote unquote sophisticated as Destroyer, and then followed it up with something as simple, I'll say, as that debut album with chock full of those hits. Yeah, you're right. It probably would have been multi-platinum because we all know when a band puts out a huge album, everybody wants the next album.
Exactly.
You know? So yeah, I think that's a great point.
Because the songs just stand up. They're so good. It's just at that time they still weren't known.
Right.
Yeah. Zeus, your comments on that first album.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that. I mean, there's so many classics on there, but I still think, you know how everybody in Kiss world thinks that the first three albums they're grouped for a reason, and then the next three are grouped for a reason. There's a level of maturity that comes from Destroyer going forward that is not there on the first three albums. They're just way more raw, way more simplistic rock and roll. And although we all love them, I don't think that they, like, I think would Kiss, the debut album, do better than Rock and Roll Over? I don't know. I don't think so. After Destroyer. So Destroyer's the hit, and then they go to Rock and Roll Over, or they go to the debut album. I think Rock and Roll Over does better.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
better
maybe.
than those. And I'm not saying Rock and Roll Over, I have it ranked higher, but I'm not saying that it's, blowing away the debut album.
Yeah.
Although, to me, I just feel like those songs are just different. They're more raw.
Yeah, I think the production on that debut album is so thin. That's why people love the live versions on a lot. Like you listen to Deuce on the debut album and then listen to it on the live album. It's like, now you understand why people lost their minds when that album came out.
And I think they're different versions.
Yeah.
Listen to Firehouse and then listen to it on a live.
Yeah.
They're just different versions. So you can almost think that it's one's the demo and one's the real version.
Yeah.
Kissin' Time, I agree that song just that's the shitter of the album. But I know a lot of people love Theme from Kiss, don't like that, but I love it. I love that.
I love it too. I love instrumentals. I love it for the historical aspect of what it was, what it became, and I've anything interesting that Kiss does, I think is cool.
Yeah, and it's ace.
I don't know why you guys are shitting on Kissing Time.
Do you like Kissing Time?
I don't have a problem with it at all.
Okay.
Especially since all three members sing.
Yep.
And each one of them, like especially Peter's verse, Peter sings his ass off. He does that Peter screech.
I think it's the chorus. I agree with you, Zeus, but I think it's a chorus that people.
Yeah, the chorus is cheesy 50s, 60s, early 60s stuff.
It sounds like something that would be on a Peter solo album.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
that's a positive thing.
That's a
we love the Peter solo album. Zeus a little bit more than me, but you definitely won't hear. You won't hear either. Yeah, you
love
it.
Okay.
You won't hear either one of us.
Well, listen, guys, take care. It was great.
It's not a Kiss album.
It's a great album,
but it's a fun album. So
yeah. I will say I like the Peter Criss album more now than I did when I first heard it. I didn't like it at all.
I don't think any 10-year-old kid liked the Peter Criss solo album.
Right. Yeah. Hotter Than Hell, you say is darker, also from 74. A darker album, while 75's Dressed to Kill, anthemic rockers on there, some catchy pop infused tracks. You look at the tracks in those albums and they're stacked. Parasite, another ace classic. Hotter Than Hell, All the Way, Watching You, Strange Ways from Hotter Than Hell. Dressed to Kill has Room Service, Rock Bottom, Come On Love Me, She, kick-ass riff.
Yep.
Love Her All I Can, and Rock and Roll All Night. Yet, and this is the question I was going to ask, they're not taken seriously by the critics. A lot of fans. Why do you think that is? Can we assume it's the makeup that turned them off?
Well, I think two things. I think the band was trying, so they couldn't find their way. I think they knew their way as musicians and songwriters, but they didn't really know what they wanted to give to the public. So Hotter Than Hell, they said, okay, let's go dark, muddy, doom metal. Let's like, in retrospect, terrible production, but the songs are heavy as fuck on that album. Okay. But they just sound like they're underwater. Okay. Dressed to Kill comes along. I absolutely love it. It's poppy. It's punchy. All the songs are like, have a real like rhythmic effect to them. Peter's drumming, that might be to me the clinic album for Peter's drumming right there.
Okay.
But again, the album is a little bit thin. So I don't think people know what to do with this band right now. They look this way, but they sound that way. And I think it was just kind of confusing for people at that time.
When I got Hotter Than Hell for the first time, it was a burned CD. So I thought it was actually a messed up copy because of the drums. I saw, oh, this is like really overmodulated. So let me get the actual copy. I get the actual copy and it sounds exactly the same.
Sounds the same, right?
What's wrong with the drums?
Right.
It's weird.
Right.
It's like but that was intentional from what I understand. That was what they wanted.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's how I look at it. They didn't take their time making the songs. I think they're so underrated of coming up with cool hooks, great choruses, fun sing-along songs, reminiscent of the Motown type churn and burn, make these good songs and just send them out, right? Not taking the time. Oh, it took this band 4 years to come up with this. Okay, great.
Yeah,
these guys are
3-minute songs.
So good at doing these good, catchy songs. And then if you put them in that live setting and then add fucking bombs, add blood, add fire,
add Paul's stage banter.
Yeah. All of a sudden, critics are like, what is this? They're just masking the other stuff. You're not listening to Room Service and being like, this is on a different level.
Right.
But you like it and you can rock out to it.
Yep.
But then you add the other stuff into the critics, they're looking to shit all over them.
Yep.
And I think it hurt them. It may have helped them later on with the fans, but I think artistically to critics, it hurts them. They're not going to give these bands and this type of band a chance. I think the songs and the music is there. It's there for, they're great. I think they're just very good and they can turn these songs out rather quickly.
Yeah.
Think how many albums they released in the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And 2 in 1 year, which was somewhat common back then, but still they were cranking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got 2 in 74. You have
4 in 78.
Yeah.
That's right.
You had 7 studio albums, 2 live albums, a compilation, and 4 solo albums in the span of 5 years.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's madness. That's insane.
No wonder why they couldn't stand each other. I mean, they were constantly working.
They were
just around each other all the
time. That's it.
But they can turn these songs out. No offense. I don't know anybody that's a Kiss fan that's like, oh, that's like, now people may not like The Elder. People might, oh, that's the disco album. But as many people that might not like something, there's 3 or 4 times people that love that album. There's no throwaways in the Kiss discography. There's no, during this time, this shit sucked. None of the songs are any good.
One thing we've learned as we've done this show and especially putting the book together is when people think of Kiss, especially people that are casual fans or maybe even people that aren't fans, you think of the makeup, you think of the bombs, the fire, Gene spitting blood, and all that stuff. Rock and roll all night. But going through this book, you realize there's a lot of people out there, including us, that absolutely love the non-makeup 80s era, that love The Elder. Okay. All this stuff that people don't talk about, that we've learned through the podcast and again, really learned putting this book together, that non-makeup 80s Kiss stuff that we have people who listen to the show, friends of ours, they prefer that over the classic 70s makeup era Kiss. They said those songs are better. Those albums are better.
Yeah. I do have my argument for Elder. We'll get to that. But and also how Paul, every single album in the 80s had at least one song that was a huge radio hit, whether it's rock radio or a crossover hit, every single one, which is not easy to do. And that's credit to Paul.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So Destroyer, I want to talk about. We know Kiss Alive, what it does for the band. That's huge. I mean, that's obvious. I'm assuming you can't say anything negative about Kiss Alive. I mean, we get it now after the fact. There was stuff that was done, but whatever. That's a classic. But so now the momentum, and the Destroyer comes out in 76, and that's their most commercially successful studio album. But is it their best? Because it's not my personal favorite. I love it. But there are times when I feel like, you know, Bob Ezrin maybe overproduces in some areas, but some areas he's like, it's perfect. Like Great Expectations, Flaming Youth, overproduced for me. Other songs like God of Thunder, Detroit Rock City with that intro, the production, perfect. So are there songs on that album that you feel like, yeah, he could have pulled back a little bit more, or do you like the whole thing from start to finish?
So
we got to be careful here. We've reviewed every single album except for Destroyer.
You haven't done it yet? Oh my God.
Last one.
The last one.
Okay. So
I want to be careful, like not give too much away.
Yeah.
But I will agree with you. I mean, people have heard me talk about Destroyer. Bob Ezrin put some extra stuff in there. You either like it or you don't. I'm one of those that like it.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Is Great Expectations going to be better without Bob Ezrin? I don't think it's that good at all, but I think Ezrin makes it better. It makes it at least interesting by adding what he does. He certainly did the same thing with the rest of the songs on the album. They made it way more interesting. Straight ahead rock and roll, Great Expectations, Flaming Youth ain't going to be much better without Ezrin.
Yeah, Flaming Youth has that like carnival sound to it. It's
calliope merry-go-round thing.
Yeah, that always kind of took me.
I mean, I think it was a natural progression for them. You know,
that's Mad Dog, by the way.
Yeah, it is. That's a great demo. Yeah,
that's that set. Mad Dog on the box set.
Yep,
that's where it came from.
What a box set, by the way.
Incredible. But yeah, after Alive kind of blew up, and everybody, you know, you got a producer like Ezrin who comes in and really wants to harness Kiss and turn them into something that they've never been before. So, I mean, you needed Destroyer. You know, like Zeus said, we haven't really reviewed the album yet, so we don't kind of want to show our cards here per se for anybody listening to the show here. But I think Destroyer was necessary to keep moving forward. You know, you had Alive, which was a marker in the sand. You had Destroyer, which was a marker in the sand, and you absolutely needed it. Whether or not we love what Ezrin did, but I think it was essential, and it just continued that upward trajectory for the band.
Ezrin has an interesting career where he's got those albums that he hits a home run on, and then there's albums where he doesn't. That was like late 80s, early 90s, where he admittedly was doing a little bit of the.
Oh yeah, he's really. I mean, then he comes back and he does Revenge, which is spectacular. You know, so yeah, Ezrin is definitely. You don't know what you're going to get with him.
Now, he's very polarizing.
Yeah, very.
Here's what's strange. As I was setting up these questions in my head and thinking about what I want to ask you guys, is I'm catching myself kind of, I guess, catching myself where I'm saying one thing, but I'm saying another on a different era of Kiss. Like, in other words, I say I don't like the production or overproduction of Destroyer, but then if you look at the 80s Kiss, I love the heavily produced Crazy Nuts.
We do too.
But that's what I want in my 80s Kiss. I don't want that with my 70s Kiss. Like I want the bare bones, straight ahead rock. I want the Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun, especially Rock and Roll Over, like straight ahead, stripped down rock. That's Eddie Kramer. So your comments on those two albums, the follow up.
Yeah, well, I think Kiss wanted the exact same thing. I think Kiss knew there were fans that when Destroyer came out, they were like, "What the hell is this? What is Great Expectations? What is Beth?"
Yeah.
What is the Calliope music and Flaming Youth? What's the where is Kiss? What happened to my band? Like, yeah, I like Detroit Rock City. I like King of the Nighttime World. So I think Kiss was like, all right, this was great. This was huge. We blew up. We got a big hit with Beth, but let's get back to basics. Let's get raw and hard and heavy and classic with Eddie Kramer. They did that. They continued it with Love Gun. They continued it with Alive too. But again, I think like any other artist out there, everything is a building block, whether it's going to move you forward or move you backward or move you to the side. You need those things. So you wouldn't have had Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun if you didn't have Destroyer. But I think the band recognized that. And to me, I prefer what Eddie Kramer does over what Bob Ezrin does. I always have.
All right, Zeus.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why we have a podcast. So
exactly.
I'm the complete opposite. I'll take Bob Ezrin any day over Eddie Kramer any day. I think Eddie
Why is
Kramer's
that?
because I think there's Bob Ezrin makes better songs. Maybe Eddie Kramer gets better sounds, but he ain't getting better songs. And for me, I look at the songs that came out of Bob Ezrin albums, and I look at the songs that came out of Eddie Kramer albums. I will take the Ezrin songs anytime over those.
Okay.
And I'm
That's a
still
good point.
including, and I'm including The Elder, and I'm including Revenge.
Revenge.
I
love
think
Revenge.
he,
I love Revenge.
you know, he works with Jimi Hendrix. He worked with Zeppelin. I'm not going to criticize Ezrin's studio work. I mean, not Ezrin.
Kramer.
Kramer's studio work. Obviously, he's a genius, and whatever he did on Alive is possibly the best produced album, maybe better than Destroyer. Okay, he did that, but I like Rock and Roll Over. For a while, it was my number one album that we've had in our rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it for overall. It's great, but there's some shit on there too.
Mm-hmm.
See You in Your Dreams is not gonna like knock my socks off. I mean, it's the great expectations of that album.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tom loves it, but Almost Human and Then She Kissed Me, those songs made it to Love Gun.
Then She Kissed Me.
Then She
Ugh.
Kissed Me. That breaks my heart because I would have been a perfect Kiss record.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But these are still decisions there. Whereas I think Ezrin would tell Kiss, get that fucking shit out of here.
Right.
Yeah, but Ezra,
and Kramer's like, all right, you want to do this song? I'll make it sound as good as it can.
Yeah, but the
flip
side to that is Ezrin signed off on Great Expectations. I know that's a punching bag, but it's a punching bag for a reason.
But I don't have a problem with Great Expectations. I still think it's a decent song.
Okay, that's fair.
The decision to record Then She Kissed Me is just a terrible decision.
Oh, I agree.
It didn't fit where Kiss was.
It's indefensible. Yes.
If you're going to do a cover at the end, dude, you guys love The Who. You love Led Zeppelin. Imagine if they put a cover of one of those songs.
Exactly.
What a way to end an album.
Do we know why they chose that track to cover?
Paul probably.
Yeah.
Paul loved that. Paul loved that stuff. Plus, it's got the word kiss in it. It's got the word, like kissing time, and then she kissed me. They love all that.
Good point.
Yeah.
I just
and you can't say no to Paul.
No, you can't. Not at that time.
But
give you that look. That fucking.
It's a different decision. I mean, you got two different producers, two different styles,
yeah.
And I'm glad they got both.
Oh, me too.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't want Bob Ezrin doing all the 70s. I don't want Eddie Kramer doing all the 70s albums.
Right.
Yeah. And Beth, whether you like it or not, obviously was huge for the band. And Ezrin really takes a lot of credit for Beth because
he really
restructured the whole thing.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Yeah. Originally called Beck. And that's.
Yep. All that. Yep.
Yeah. I could just see Paul, with Then She Get that Sting. It's Sting. Yeah. But Paul, it's Sting. And then Ace stepping in.
This is bullshit. Where's Snowblind?
Snowblind. I love it.
Save it for my solo album with Eddie Kramer.
Oh God. So the 4 solo albums, how do you rank them?
So that's funny. Yeah. We actually just one of our episodes a couple weeks ago, we actually did we created what we call the 1978 Lost Kiss album, and we took the 10 best and created like what would have been a Kiss album. We love the solo albums. We've reviewed all 4 of them. We had our friend Joey Casada, co-author of the book. We did a draft where we drafted, and then Zeus and I just a couple weeks ago just did. I love the solo albums. Some of them are better than others. For me, it's untouchable that Paul Stanley is number 1. It's not even close.
Really? Not Ace?
Oh yeah. No, I think Ace is actually horrendously overrated.
Really?
The problem with Ace is that the great songs are great, but the songs that are bad, I think, are terrible.
I'm in need of love.
See what I mean?
Oh, you are?
So, and
I need some loving, please.
But I mean, I love Rip It Out is incredible. Speeding Back to My Baby, incredible. What's on Your Mind, incredible. I love those. I will defend Gene's album. I think it's a fun album. And you've already heard us sing the praises of Peter's album. But for me, Paul's album is just untouchable.
So Paul 1, Gene 2.
Tom, you have Paul 1, you have Ace 2, I
have Ace 2, yeah.
Gene 3, Peter 4.
Yeah, I put Ace 2 just because Rip It Out and Speeding Back to My Baby are so incredible. They're so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm looking at our rankings. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Eddie Kramer produced that one, the Ace one.
Yeah, but I really enjoy Gene's and Peter's. I love them all. I mean, I'll take all 4 of those and put them on shuffle or whatever and listen to them. I think they're great.
And what a time. I think we're all around the same age. So I was like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old when all this stuff was going down.
Yep.
And I had the Jigsaw puzzle. I had the Destroyer Jigsaw. And Kiss Alive 2, guy down the street, Tom Skricka, huge Kiss fan. And he played the album so much that he needed to get clean copies because it was like, it was just
it up. Yeah, right.
So
he should have waited to buy CDs.
Right. He hands me a stack of albums, like, here you go. And at the top was Alive 2. I was going to grab it. It's in the other room, but I, open up that gatefold and holy shit, there's the fire. And I was blown away by it, and there was just like, they were just superheroes,
Hey,
so
Eric, before you get there, I got to tell you mine because I want to hear you give me shit.
Okay.
I didn't tell you. So it's Paul 1, it's Peter 2.
Oh,
it's Ace 3, Gene 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
He loves
He
loves the Peter. I like it too, but
it.
I can't put it second. But I like it.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Let me look back at the track listing here. Hold on.
Oh, absolutely.
See if
I Can't Stop the Rain is the best Kiss ballad in its history.
Yeah. Man, let me go back and let me just re-examine this and see maybe if
you're gonna be like, yeah, it still sucks.
As I get older, maybe I'll get them. Those 4 covers are so cool though. The
oh my god, incredible.
The covers. I thought you think cover songs.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Don't You Let Me Down. You Matter to Me is cool.
Oh, You Matter to Me in fucking Tossing and Turning are the worst 2 songs on that.
And those are my 2 favorite ones on the album.
And I can't stand them. I think they're the worst too.
See, that's the thing. Like, he comes from that era, which I respect totally. Who's Krupa is his favorite drummer.
Gene Krupa.
Yeah, I get it.
The jazz and the big band. Yeah.
But that's the kind of sugar Papa likes.
Great song.
Great song title.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I Can't Stop the Rain. All right, listen, I will give it a listen again. Oh my God, Rolling Stone album guide, 1 out of 5 stars.
Oh, don't trust Rolling Stone though, please. They hate everybody.
Exactly.
They do, yeah.
But here's another interesting one for you, Eric. You went to Alive 2. Alive 2 or Alive 1? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Alive 2.
Me too.
And I get Alive.
Me too.
Well, I know why it's huge, but I love Alive 2. Those
not even close.
Friggin' studio tracks are kick-ass.
To me,
man,
that's the
Rocket
tipping
Ride.
Point. That's the tipping.
Yeah, okay, Rocket Ride. All right.
Larger than life, all American Man.
Yes.
Which not to mention live versions of Love Gun and I Stole Your Love and God of Thunder and Detroit
the solo on Love Gun. Yeah.
The Shock Me solo. Oh.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes.
Shock Me.
Yeah, man. And I knew there was something like larger than life. I'm like, that doesn't sound like Peter on drums. You know what I mean? Like,
we still don't know who recorded side 4 of Alive 2.
Really?
It's still everybody thinks it's Peter, but there's a lot of stories out there that it wasn't because Peter was kind of a little bit of a drift in 1970.
Until somebody says it was somebody else, Peter should be the one that gets credited.
Oh no, and I do that.
Right?
I do. I credit him, but you're right. A lot Larger Than Life does not sound like something Peter would play.
No, and who's on? Isn't that Kulick's brother, Bob on guitar, right?
Yep.
So. Yeah, but it's like a Bonham-esque type drums, and it's like, nah,
totally.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's Peter. But that's like, as a Van Halen fan, if you listen to Van Halen 3, try to pick out. Apparently, Eddie plays all the drums, according to Mike Post, who produced that album. But
really,
to me, because actually tomorrow night I'm on a podcast, a guest on a podcast called Regarding Van Halen 3, where they break down each track.
Okay.
So I was listening to that album again. I'm like, yeah, Alex is playing there. He's not playing there. Like, if you have an ear, like you guys listen to Kiss all the time.
Yeah, you can
have
tell
an ear for what's Peter and what's not.
Yep, you can tell.
But he's credited as a drummer, so we'll leave
That's right.
That.
Yep.
All right, so 79's Dynasty. That's got I Was Made for Loving You. Number 11, Ace is quoted in the book, in your book, about how he and Paul had different musical tastes. Fine with him, but in this case, not a fan. He said, quote, I was 100% against it. Where do you stand on I Was Made for Loving You?
first of all, Dynasty in our rankings right now, I have that second behind Love Gun as my all-time favorite Kiss album. I Was Made for Loving You. It's a great song. It's not my favorite song on the album. It's not one of my favorite Kiss songs. It's a good song. It's an undeniable song. It kind of pisses me off that it was the first song released from the album, because then it became known as the disco album, because that is the disco song.
But
because just Dynasty's not a disco album.
No.
You listen to the rest of that album, it's not Sure Know Something has a little bit of disco in it.
It's more popish.
It's popish, but the rest of that album, Hard Times, Dirty Living, Magic Touch, X-Ray Eyes, whatever.
Yep.
It's a killer album. Love it. Love
all
Dynasty.
of Ace's tracks are great.
All of Ace's tracks. Yeah, exactly. Great stuff. Yep.
2000 Man. What he does with 2000 Man, it's like, that's better than the Stones version. Sorry.
Oh, the Stones version is the Stones version. I love
Right?
the Stones. The Stones version's really bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. All right, Zeus, your take on I Was Made for Loving You, and Dynasty too, the album.
I love Dynasty. I have it ranked third. I Was Made for Loving You got Kiss of 1 billion plays.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that.
1 billion plays. Do you think he fucking gives a shit that some people say, oh, it's the disco album? It got 1 billion plays. He's laughing at how much money he's making. We had Carmine Appice on our show. He wrote Do You Think I'm Sexy with Rod Stewart.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So as him as a drummer, as a journeyman drummer and all this stuff, and he's got this great resume and stuff, I bet you he makes more money from that than anything else he's fucking ever done.
Oh yeah.
You think he cares that someone's like, dude, you're in Vanilla Fudge, you play for Rod Stewart, what are you doing playing that song? He's probably like, go fuck yourself. You know how much money I've made? I've got houses that I
because of that song.
Because of that song. Paul Stanley's probably saying the exact same thing. And what's interesting and great about it is the great Desmond Child gave us such a long nuance. We cut it down.
Oh, yeah.
Answer about I Was Made for Loving You.
Yeah.
And about how that was innovative.
Yeah, because he's one of the songwriters.
Song. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So he's like, nobody was doing a dance disco song with electric guitars. We invented that, me and Paul Stanley.
Yep.
Which is
what he came,
so cool, insane. Man. Yeah.
Because you tell me a song that had a disco dance song with guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, we invented that.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's funny too. The two most polarizing Kiss songs are the two most famous songs, Beth and I Was Made for Loving You. It's the two songs where diehards are like, yeah, they're pretty good. And casual fans are like, oh, I love those songs. And then there's people that are in between. And they're the two biggest songs that they have in terms of popularity and publicity and plays and sales, etc.
Beth is its highest ranking. And, and I Was Made for Loving You is its
billion streams on Spotify.
Yeah.
1 billion.
Yep. Yeah. Imagine that.
I've always liked the song, and whenever I hear it now, I like it. So and this is the era when a lot of the older Kiss fans that are older than us, didn't like the costumes, but that was the fucking coolest with the capes.
Oh yeah, they started to look like Peter's costume with all that green fur and everything. I thought Ace looked absolutely badass. I mean, I've always been a Gene guy, so I thought Gene looked absolutely incredible. But you're right, that's when they really started to become like cartoon characters and really over the top, but flamboyant. But that was also of the era. It was 1979, 1978. And that's what it was.
The Tom Snyder appearance.
Oh God. We did an episode on that. I think it was last Halloween. We did that. Just incredible, legendary.
I listened to it. I mean, it is just the looks that Gene and Paul are giving Ace are just priceless.
It's uncomfortable.
It's so awkward. Yeah, it's so awkward. I love it. I love it.
What was Tom Snyder? He fell into one where he's like, "Yeah, I got some pipes you can
pipe
fix.
back there that needs to be looked at.
Tell me about it.
That's when Ace just became everybody's like favorite little goof.
Yes.
Yeah, he couldn't help it.
And Peter was loving it too. He was just because at that point
he was loving that. It was pissing them off.
Oh yeah, he loved seeing Gene stew in there. Oh, fantastic.
And who knew, like pre-internet era, who knew that they just hated each other at that point?
Right. No, nobody knew.
Get out of my face. I can't stand you. That kind of hatred.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So by the time the Unmasked album comes out, that's 1980. Now Kiss fans are starting to check out.
Yep.
So I didn't listen to it until years later in college. I had a friend who's like a huge alternative fan, loved Jane's Addiction and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He had Unmasked and he's like, he loved it. So I'm listening to it. I'm like, yeah, man, this is freaking, I like it. It's cool. And at the time I was like, damn, Peter's playing really good on this.
It's not Peter. Yep.
But yeah, he's on the cover. Anton Fig.
Yes, he's the drummer.
So is Unmasked underrated or rated just right?
Well, Zeus, you want to go here? We know we
Unmasked is rated low, so it's rated just right.
Okay. So you're not a fan?
No.
I love the album.
I am a fan because it's a Kiss album. So in the Kiss library, compared to Kiss stuff, it's low. But compared to other people's, probably could be one of their best albums and other bands. But for me, it's one of their lowest, if not the lowest.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I like that kind of slick pop sound. I think it's I think it's really good. I mean, I'm not going to try to convince somebody that it's a top tier Kiss album, but I really like it.
Shandy's a great song, but I love the
that's Zeus's favorite. Look at his face. Look at his,
he doesn't like it. Okay.
That song is horrendous. That song sucks. It's brutal. It's awful. There's nothing worse than a bad girl name song.
Shandy.
Holly Knight was part of this album.
That's right. She was. Yep.
Yeah. I love Ace's songs. They're so quirky. Like
Torpedo they're okay. Girl.
There are two sides of the coin. Talk to me. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they're not bad.
By the way, that was cool when you had the three sides of the coin podcast guys on your show. It was like Ghostbusters. Oh, yeah. You cross the streams.
Cross the streams.
Okay.
That's right. Yep.
I listen to those guys all the time too.
Yeah.
It's all right to have like other people.
Everybody can like everything.
Not everybody has to hate each other and stuff. So
yeah, that was cool. That was a cool episode.
Yep.
What was I going to say? We're Unmasked. I don't think I had anything more to say about Unmasked. Although, this is what's weird. No, one quick thing. How weird is it to see Peter in the video for Shandy? It's like, he was so mentally checked out at that point. It's like he must have been just like, what the fuck am I doing?
That was also pretty much the last time that he was like with the band, I believe. Right. When they filmed the video and he kind of like
when they were done, that
was it.
So
that was
weird.
That was actually a real goodbye, like Paul says in the song.
All right, so let's get to it. Music from the Elder. And you defend the album in the book, and I'm with you. It was a bold move, but years later, I can appreciate it more, especially when you listen to it in like the proper track order.
Yep.
Definitely a ballsy move. And there are songs on this album that are among my all-time favorite Kiss songs. Dark Light, Mr. Blackwell.
Yes.
The bass, that menacing bass. Escape from the Island.
Yep.
And I'll throw in I.
Oh,
But Zeus, you call it, with your comment in the book, those first three tracks, Fanfare, Just a Boy into Odyssey. I mean, you have to laugh at those. I mean, it's like, what's going on? But talk about the album as a whole. How do you feel about it? How did you feel about it then? And how do you feel about it now? Almost.
I didn't even know it existed.
Same here.
When I got back into Kiss in the 80s, after, checking out, we always like to joke, I became 6 years old. So Kiss was too childish for me when I was 6. And I checked out after, when Unmasked. I didn't remember Unmasked as a child.
Same here.
I don't remember Music from the Elder. I don't remember any of that shit. When I remember Kiss coming back in my lexicon or anything in hearing and music and rock was Lick It Up on the radio. And then I remember Animalize, and that's when I circled back.
Right.
But even when you circle back and you get the magazines, every once in a while you see something about Music from the Elder. I'm like, oh, did Kiss do a TV show? What do you mean From the Elder? Is that a movie? What is that? And I could never find it. And then CDs started coming out, and then more magazines. And all of a sudden, I saw that this was so bad that they never released it again.
Yeah, Tom.
I had the cassette in 1981, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" Now, it's a hard album to listen to start to finish. It's one of the few Kiss albums that I really struggle to listen to without, individually selecting the songs I want to hear. But there are great songs on there. The Oath, I, Mr. Blackwell, Dark Light, Only You. Some of the songs are great.
Only You's good, yeah.
But you have to get through that other shit, and it's painful. So the highs are very high and the lows are very low on the Elder.
And they had big expectations for the tour.
Oh,
right? Have this big. It was like a Spinal Tap.
Yeah, and they never toured for it. Yeah, they never did anything.
The Stonehenge tour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So a lot of Kiss fans went back and listened to Music from the Elder for re-examination or reconsideration.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there were quite a few people when they listened to 1982's Creature of the Night years later. It was the first time, because it's like nobody even knew it was out. There's like everybody had forgotten about it. Although the video for I Love It Loud, that was on. I remember that, but Ace on the cover, but he's not even playing on there. Vinnie Vincent on most of the tracks. Then we have Eric Carr on drums. Massive sound. Is this Kiss's most underrated album?
For me, I'm going to say something probably really controversial that people don't like. I actually think it's their most overrated album.
I think I remember you mentioning that.
Because I think the sound of the album covers up some pretty mediocre songs. I think Creatures of the Night is a great song. I think War Machine is a great song. I think I Love It Loud is a great song. I Still Love You is okay as a ballad. Some of those, it's not a bad album. It's absolutely not a bad album. But the people that gush over it, it's my favorite album. It's my favorite album. It's not to me. It definitely got me back into Kiss because that I Love It Loud video was so amazing when I was 9 years old when they came out. I mean, I like the album. I enjoy listening to it, but I think it's definitely overrated in the Kiss world.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Zeus.
Oh, Creatures of the Night is top 5 Kiss album. Not even close. Definitely top 5 Kiss album. The drums itself are fantastic. I like the deeper cuts like Danger. I fucking love that song. Just Paul goes nuts. And the guitar and the drums on it, fantastic.
Killer.
It's just a killer. And just War Machine is such
awesome.
a badass Gene Demon
song. That's a heavy song, especially coming off of The Elder.
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever heard that. I was like, whoa, man, what the fuck is this?
Yep.
Yeah. And then I would hear wrestlers would come out to that song. I don't blame them. It's a badass song.
Yeah,
and when they started performing it live, and then you see the fucking image right on the big screen of those like dragons breathing fire when the song comes on. Oh, and the sirens going off. I'm a sucker for sirens. Yeah. Love it.
Satan Sinner. Satan Sinner's another good one.
It's okay. It's okay. That's not the go-to for me.
Rock and Roll Hell's pretty good.
Yep.
Gene's song.
I don't want to skip over Killers just because there's some great Nowhere to Run, Partners in Crime.
Killers is awesome.
That's another one that was like, it was released like on this cheaply produced, like the cassette had like this cheaply packaged thing where just like I don't even think like it was like a one-sided, you just see the image. There was like nothing on the other side of it. When they just slap those together.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a Legend Tonight, Down on Your Knees. That's on there.
I think Killers for both of us is the #1 ranked compilation.
Just because of those original tracks.
We haven't done double platinum yet. I don't think, Tom.
No, we haven't.
Killers is incredible.
Yeah, double platinum's got that odd 78 version of
Disco Strutter.
Strutter
78.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So then we get into the non-makeup era. Tom and Zeus, hosts of the Shout It Out Loudcast, now the authors of the book Raise Your Glasses, a celebration of 50 years of Kiss songs by celebrities, musicians, and fans. Guys, I don't want to keep it too long, but I'm loving this. This is I can talk Kiss all night.
Love it.
We're rolling through here. So what stands out to me about the 80s non-makeup era Kiss, and this is what I was saying earlier, it's like they managed to stay in the game the whole decade. It was like they were in the conversation. They weren't the biggest band anymore. Yeah, okay, but they had a single off of each album. 83's Lick It Up, the title track, Heaven's on Fire from 84's Animalized, Tears Are Falling from 85's Asylum, Crazy Crazy Nights from 87's Crazy Nights, more so in the UK, but still did well in the States. And then Hot the Shade had Hide Your Heart Forever was a huge hit.
Yep.
Hide Your Heart.
Yep.
So you got to credit Paul for this. My question is now, we know Gene wasn't 100% in it. He's doing his Hollywood thing, making movies. And also, I think he just, not being the demon, that thing just kind of took the wind out of his sails. So I don't think he was into it as much. What if Gene was every bit into Kiss as Paul was during that decade? How would the band have done?
Two things about Kiss's non-makeup 80s era. The band was tailor-made for that era, especially the MTV era. Okay. You got Paul, good-looking guy, killer frontman, loves to be the center of attention. Okay. The songs are tailor-made for, MTV pop metal, hair metal, catchy, hooky guitar solos, flamboyant clothes, all that stuff. Second, I think one of the most underrated and underappreciated things, and Zeus and I talk about this all the time, is Gene's non-makeup songs. I think people, because Paul was the face of Kiss in the 80s, rightfully so, but you go listen to Crazy Nights and listen to just the Gene tracks. Go listen to Asylum. Go listen to the Gene tracks. Those are awesome songs. Okay. And nobody pays attention to any of them because they're not on any compilations. There were no videos for them. They never played them in any concerts. They're buried on the albums, and that's probably per Paul because he was the king of Kiss at that time. But those are the two things I take from that 80s is that they were the albums are great and Gene is underrated.
Okay, so you felt that he was actually into it as much as he should have been.
I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that his contributions, I think, are pretty damn good. You know, I mean, did they deserve to be hits or videos? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I think the amount of criticism that he gets, most of it's well deserved. But I do think that he did have some really good contributions during the 80s.
Because I felt it dropped off after Lick It Up. He's got some badass tunes, Young and Wasted.
Oh, you Lick It Up is
Not
probably
for the Innocent.
Lick It Up he is incredible on that album.
Yeah, fits like a glove on the eighth day, Dance Over Your Face.
Yeah, he's incredible on Lick It Up.
But yeah, I just felt like it kind of took a nosedive. But
then
but
hold on, you got Good Girl Gone Bad, Thief in the Night, Secretly Cool. Any way you slice it. Yep. There's some good songs that aren't really a big deal, but the problem is you have some fucking Betrayeds in there and some other shit songs that you're like,
and you also have Burn Bitch Burn. Great riff though, stupid lyrics. Log in your fireplace.
Murder in High Heels.
Lonely as the Hunter. Not great, but yeah.
Oh, those lyrics. Let me put my log into your fire. But Paul, got a rocket in my pocket. That's
exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, that was the one that has Bryan Adams too. Bryan Adams wrote a song off of. Didn't he write All Night or
no? He wrote on Creatures of the Night.
He wrote War Machine and Rock and Roll.
That's right. That's right. You ever hear the version by Bachman Turner Overdrive? Rock and Roll?
Oh yes.
Tom, did you hear that?
It's terrible. Zeus loves it.
I love it. I say it's better than the Kiss. I have it right now on my heart, on my main screen because I play it every once in a while. I fucking love it.
Wow,
love it.
All right.
I think it's a much better song. It's all about like hard life on the road. It rocks.
And that's an interesting story. I can't remember who recorded it first or how, because there's Gene. He added a verse in there, I think, for publishing reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
They talk
you guys picked up on that, or somebody did.
That song is not finished. Yeah. What are you talking about? You're not listening. It's not finished.
Yep.
In other words, you want to get some credit for the song.
Yes.
As a Van Halen fan, the Van Halen fans are a little tired of, but it's Gene's proud of it. But I discovered Van Halen. But he kind of did. Yeah. And he backed those guys. In fact, he said recently, just saw a comment from him. I wrote an article on it too. He said, biggest mistake that Paul ever made or something like that, that he should have, it's like, guys, look,
yep.
Hello. It's like, are you hearing this dude playing guitar?
Exactly. I know, huh?
Imagine. Yep. So 90s Kiss, the huge story, of course, is the reunion.
Yep.
The original four. I get all that, but Revenge. God Gave Rock and Roll to You too. Unholy, Domino. This album is, I remember being in college and it was like more the guys I was hanging out with were talking about Kiss than before. Yep. That was the thing. And then the MTV, they're playing the videos and it was like Gene was back into the demon character without the makeup, but he was still looking cool. And
yep. This was the album. I mean, I was always into Kiss during the 80s. I mean, I loved Hot in the Shade. It was the first time I saw them in concert. But the Revenge album, to me,
Hot in the Shade, great set list on that tour.
The best. Yeah. The best. Yes. But Revenge, I love. It's top four album for me. Gene has incredible songs. Paul has incredible songs. The band is back. Unfortunately, I didn't see them on that tour. I did see them when they did that little convention tour. They came to Boston in '95. That was great. But Revenge and Carnival of Souls and all that stuff leading up to the reunion is just, I absolutely love that era of Kiss.
Really, Carnival of Souls. Well, let's put Carnival on Souls on hold because Zeus, your comments. We want to get your thoughts on.
Oh yeah, just Revenge is an incredible album. It's just outside my top 5, but bring back Ezra, and the band is all focused. They come out with some badass music. But the other thing that really pushed that album for Tom and I was the video, the extreme close-up that came out, and just before that, Kiss Exposed. So that brought a lot of old love for the old stuff and an appreciation for the new stuff. So we would watch that in college, and we would have that on constantly on the big screen in the middle of the suite. That extreme close-up. People are like, dude, why you got that fucking Kiss video is playing again? Shut up.
Paul answering the door. The reporter.
No, but extreme close-up specifically, more so than Exposed.
Am I getting the right extreme close-up? Is that the
both of them? There's both of them that came out. I'm saying there's in the 90s.
In the 90s.
Okay, I think extreme close-up came out like
92.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
And then Exposed came out like 87, something like that, or around there.
Oh, Exposed is the one where they're all by the pool and they're
it's that's like Exposed. More of a gimmicky,
yes. But even that showed me videos as I was younger about old Kiss that I didn't remember, but I remember now watching them as a kid, that it got that nostalgia back. Hence they can do Hot in the Shade now. Yeah. Because they can play those songs again. But that started building up. Oh, the old Kiss fans and the new Kiss fans, they can both love this band.
Yes.
And then Extreme Close-Up brought it more so all together.
Huge.
And just gave us more of appreciation of the old Kiss.
Yep.
With, hey, Kiss is back. Look at Gene. He's all in black. He looks menacing.
Yep.
Yeah, this is our Kiss for what it is now. And I think it really tied it all together.
I have those on VHS. Still have them.
Yep.
I wonder what that. Remember the video for a Rise to It from Hot in the Shade where Paul put the makeup on. Like, what did that? Yeah, what were they trying to tell us? Anything? Maybe not. Don't want to read too much into it, but I think it got people excited.
Oh, I think you definitely should read it into that, especially when you listen to what Paul and Gene are saying in that video. When they talk about, we could take the makeup off. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, we can trust us. We could do anything.
Was that like, let's see what people say here. Let's take a little temperature.
Well, there were rumors that they wanted to put the makeup on like back way before they did put it on in the reunion. So I feel like that was kind of percolating around that time. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that when they put that makeup on, that was them, because they even admitted that during the Hot in the Shade tour, that was one of the first tours where they really started to embrace classic Kiss. I mean, they opened up with "I Stole Your Love."
Yes,
I mean, that's crazy. Most of those other tours were opening up with brand new material from the album they were supporting. So I think that era of the band, they were, like Zeus said, they were embracing classic Kiss around that time.
It was always in the back of their mind.
Yeah,
I think too. I saw them in New Haven. Totally. That's Paul he injured himself. I think, was it the car accident? I don't remember, but he had like a bandage around his waist in New Haven.
Oh yeah,
New Haven Coliseum.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Now, my favorite thing about that is you got the Kiss tards bitching about, like, that's not the right uniform in that era.
Oh,
he's got the wrong knee pads on. He doesn't have the shoulder blades. He has that. Like this is why the Kiss fans become insufferable.
Oh God, seriously.
Man, just can we have a little fun?
They overanalyze every little thing.
Yep.
By the way, did you guys have the chance to read the book? I had her on the show. Let me find it here. I think she's going to put out 3 volumes. She put out the first of 3 volumes on Eric Carr. Hold on, let me find it here. I had her on. Here we go. Janet Simmons. The book
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, the book is called The Rise of the Fox.
Yes.
Okay. First one is 1950 to 1982. And then she said she's going to have the second one out soon. And I think a third too.
Okay.
Phenomenal book. Breaks down the whole timeline of his costume and the makeup and how they had like 48 hours to come up with something.
Figure out what
the bird.
The hawk.
The hawk. Terrible. Like fucking Big Bird.
Oh, terrible. Terrible.
I was so riveted by it, and she was breaking down every little thing. And I have the book, and I think you could get it on Kindle too for very, very cheap or even free if you have an Prime account. But that would be a great guest. I want to have her back on to talk about the follow-up.
Yep.
So Carnival of Souls. I don't like Carnival. Here's a problem though. Maybe I would have liked the timeline, it was such a letdown. It was like after David Lee Roth shows up at the 96 MTV Awards, everybody's got their hopes up, and then he's not there, and you have Gary Sharon. It's like,
Yeah.
That's not going to help. So it's like, why are you putting Carnival of Souls out after the huge hype of the original four coming out?
Well, the whole thing with
I know why they waited.
Yeah, that whole thing was that they recorded that, and then the reunion happened. They shelved it, but then it started leaking out. Bootlegs started leaking out, and the band and the record label said, "Well, fuck it. If people are going to start listening to this, we need to put it out."
So makes total sense.
So that's why that's why it says like the final sessions. It's really not a fully produced and fleshed out sounding album.
Yeah. So no critique of them in that sense, but it was at that time to have it come out then was, and we were getting past the grunge era too, I think.
Yep.
So, but
I do. I'm a grunge fan. We both are. I mean, I know Zeus is not a huge fan of the album. I'll let him kind of tell his piece on that. But I think it's a fantastic Gene record. I think it's a terrible Paul record, with the exception of maybe one or two songs. There are definitely duds on it. But, kind of like music from the Elder. The highs are really high and the lows are kind of low. But I enjoy it. I really enjoyed it.
I think Bruce told you guys he's proud of that record.
Oh, he wrote. It's a Bruce Ray. He wrote most of it, and Eric Singer was an absolute beast on it. The band sounds great. Again, some of the songs are not great, but some of the songs with Gene are fantastic.
Okay. Zeus?
Carnival of Souls is my least ranked album.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah. Same here.
Okay. But I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't let anybody get away with saying, oh, that album sucks. It doesn't suck. There's some good stuff on it. But the reason it's ranked the lowest is because it's Paul's worst album.
It's a terrible Paul album.
So if an album is great of awesome Paul songs versus awesome Gene's, Paul's are going to rank higher. The album will be better if Paul's songs are better. He's way more melodic and way more catchy. That works for me. That's the kind of music I like. Gene has that too sometimes. He's just not as prolific as Paul is. And because Gene shines on that album and Paul is horrendous on that album,
well, I like Master.
His heart's not in it.
Yeah, Master and Slave is good, and Jungle is good, but the rest of
it's good for you.
It's good, yeah, right. But the rest of the Paul stuff is rough on that album.
Yeah. So to me, it's still a good album.
Yeah,
but it's just not. It's the least of the Kiss albums. That's all.
How about Tommy Thayer being on songwriting credit on Childhood's End?
Yeah, that's not a plus.
That's
not a positive thing.
It's not a terrible song, but it's definitely not it's not a top tier, upper tier Kiss song by any stretch.
And this is a joke for those on the East Coast. I see Cuomo, was it Governor Cuomo, was writing some of the songs for Kiss.
I hope that's not him.
Curtis Cuomo.
Cuomo, yeah.
I don't think Governor Cuomo was on that Kiss album. Let's see. So we move on. Oh, Psycho Circus. Yeah. And then after the big reunion, did you guys go to the shows for
we went to a couple. Yeah, we went to a couple.
What was that? Because I didn't get to see him until late 90s and then again in the early 2000s, which may be the best show I've ever seen. But yeah, that 96 tour. I mean, what was that like?
I mean, that was the dream come true. It was the Love Gun costumes. It was something that you never thought you'd see in your entire life. And there they are in front of you, Gene spitting blood, breathing fire, Ace doing the Shock Me solo, and it was mind blowing. The band sounded great. The set list was awesome. It was everything you could have hoped for. It was probably best show I've ever seen in my entire life. Was this the very first reunion show at the Boston Garden?
Garden.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I agree with Tom. 100%. It's the best concert I've ever been to.
What a show they put on. And that's the thing they talk about with Gene and money, and he loves money. The money they put into these shows is like, what they're doing and what he's doing. Like, he's afraid of heights, he said, right? I think he said that.
So and he's flying out. It's just it's also, you add the impossible was happening right in front of your eyes.
Yes.
Okay. Usually you don't get the Led Zeppelin reunion. You don't get the original members from the Who back. You got the original members in Kiss with the costumes, with the makeup,
when they were still on their game.
Exactly.
Yep.
You got it.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen.
It doesn't happen. Yeah.
Gene, one of the best showmen in rock history, period. The whole just the way he works the crowd, like with the, the folding of the
that's
arms and
over
just looking
time.
at, I mean,
Over time, he's
Oh,
built
yeah.
that.
oh man, he's just the theatrics. He was definitely always my favorite. During the 80s, it was Paul, but the makeup era was definitely Gene.
Of course.
Yep, I agree.
And then the Psycho Circus, it's all four original members, or so we thought.
Yeah.
1998 Psycho Circus. Thumbs up, thumbs down to Psycho Circus. I love Into the Void. That's I think the only track that has all the four members on it.
So Psycho Circus for me is another one of the, I've said it before to a few albums. The highs are really high, the lows are really low. The one thing I don't like about this album is that it doesn't have any of the classic fuck me, suck me, Kiss songs. Every single song is about a topic or a thing. There's no, I mean, I Raise Your Glasses, I like, I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll, like those songs I like Psycho Circus, Within is good, Into the Void is good, but songs like We Are One and I Finally Found My Way, and some of these other songs like Dreamin' and stuff, it's not a bad album, it's just
uneven.
It's uneven. And I want to hear some songs about getting laid.
Yeah, it doesn't tidy.
For whatever they did in the tour that they got right for the reunion, they did the opposite for Psycho Circus, the album.
Yeah, it was a letdown. It was like all the elements of what that reunion tour was and what the original Kiss was. You were hoping it was going to be in there, and it was like kind of scattered. And it like We Are One is like a Beatles influenced track, but we know now, looking back, hindsight, we know that they weren't all on the same page.
Yeah.
And they weren't, Ace and Peter were just hired guns. And it's like, these are the songs we want. And I think Ace had maybe a few more songs he wanted on there.
Yep.
And they just said no. And that's when the wheels start to come off. And yeah, it's a long time until the next studio album. A lot has happened between 98 and 2009 Sonic Boom.
Yep.
Original Four reunion comes to an end, which was sad. I mean, it was like, Peter's he's barely there, and I think towards the end there, like with his drums, he could barely, didn't they they put some kind of a microphone on the drums or something that
triggers.
Yeah. So, it was just falling apart. And then it was like, okay, Ace is gone, but Peter's there. No, Peter's gone. Now Ace is not, it's like, it was kind of sad the way that all came to an end. And so let's get the controversial decision. And, so Ace and Peter are gone, and we have Tommy Thayer and we have Eric Singer now wearing the cat and the spaceman outfit. So what did you think of the decision? Has your opinion changed? It
never bothered me. I mean, I understand and I respect people's unhappiness and displeasure with it. We have plenty of people that don't like it. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me Eddie Trunk can't stand it.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
What the problem I have is when, this is me personally, obviously speaking, is when having them wear the makeup, okay, fine, but then having them try to be Ace and Peter, like Eric Singer doing Beth in front of the piano is absurd. Tommy Thayer shooting rockets out of his guitar is absurd, but I get it, because this era of Kiss, they were characters. It was the spaceman, it was the Catman, it was the demon, it was the Star Child. They were no longer Ace, Paul, Peter, and so I get it. The makeup really doesn't bother me. All the other theatrics that were staples of Peter and Ace, that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I dealt with it.
Yeah, even the songs, Thayer's, was it Out of Space, or what was
everything is space and lightning and agreed.
Well, and they worked so hard to build. They said they wanted to be the Beatles, like the Beatles, where everybody connects with each of the four members, and they worked so hard to build up that brand. I hate to throw that, everybody uses that term, but
no,
that's what it was. And then it's like, okay, now we just have to pretend like that never happened. And I don't know. Eddie Trunk wanted to have him wear a different costume, makeup. We know that different characters, that wouldn't have worked.
And if he was friends with Paul and Gene and he wasn't friends with Ace and Peter, you think he would be saying that shit?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And I mean, they really had no other option other than to just fold up the tent and walk away. And Paul wasn't ready. So he I think, but Sonic Boom and Monster, those two. I love Sonic Boom. Monster, not so much, but the last two albums, what do you think of those
Sonic
two?
Boom is a good album, very good
Yeah.
album. Monster, some songs that are good. I think the production on that album sucks, and that was done by Paul. It's all bleeding. You can't hear any fucking instruments. They're all bled together. I think some of the songs, it's grown on me actually, Monster, but it's still second weakest album, I think, in my opinion. But I like Sonic Boom. I think it's a great album all the way through.
All right.
Yeah, Sonic Boom for me is the lowest ranked Kiss album I have. I think it's I don't like the sound of it. I think the songs are kind of weak. There's some good songs on there. I mean, I like Say Yeah. I like Modern Day Delilah. I think those songs crush. They think
Russian
they're really
Roulette's a good tune. No?
Not a big fan. I actually like the Tommy Thayer song. I actually think When Lightning Strikes is actually a good song. But it's not my favorite album. I mean, again, like Zeus said, it's a Kiss album, so I like it, but it's probably my least favorite to listen to.
You both gave your thoughts on that last show. You were there.
Yep.
That last show. I mean, huge letdown for me. I just felt like, okay, there was just like a commercial to go into the next phase.
It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah. I mean, can we put any kind of positive spin on that, or is it just
no?
Is that what it is?
No, it was
I mean, how much? Yeah. You spent a lot of money on the ticket.
Well, it was a cross between. I mean, we love the show. Don't get me wrong. The show itself. I mean, final show. We were second row floor for the final show, so no one's going to complain about that. It was great. It was a moment. We were with our best friends, but anticipating something. Not only do we not get anything in terms of bringing up former members or anything. Not only do we not get that, but we get this bullshit scan your QR code to see what the fucking avatars are going to be. It ended with a commercial, which is ironic because a lot of people blame Kiss for being nothing but a commercial entity. So I guess it was a bummer.
I was waiting for like an emotional, like some moment there where Gene, maybe Gene said he was going to tear up. He said he would.
He did after the show when he got off the stage.
Paul was waiting for something, and just through the years with all the guys, thank them. Just thank even the guys you hated, like Vinny. Just
nope.
It would have been this really emotional closure type of thing, but we know it wasn't really closure.
No.
And I just couldn't believe that. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Can the not hologram, the avatars work? Will it work? It's not for a while. 2020.
I mean, I'll go see it just because we're Kiss fans, and it'll be kind of out of curiosity. But I don't know what it's going to be or what it's going to do. But we'll go see it.
Yeah,
we have to.
I'm with Tom.
With
Tom.
Do you think Paul is depressed, like bummed out, like the reality of him not being performed? No,
I actually think it's the exact. I think it's the exact opposite. I think he couldn't wait. COVID screwed up all of Paul's plans. He wanted this to be over in 2021, and COVID screwed it up and dragged it out all the way until 2-3 more years. He wanted this to be over. He wanted to be done with Kiss and get back into the world of, doing TV interviews and painting and just being. So I think
that wasn't the case when they said they were going to end.
No, I think they were. I think they were excited. I think they had a lot and energy.
He wasn't done yet.
Right.
When was the original 4 done? Like 02, 3, 4? I can't remember.
Yep.
But he really, I think he said in his book too, it's like, I just didn't feel like it was time. It was done for that era, but I still had more left.
Right.
And he did. His voice was really good right up until 06, 07 maybe.
Yeah. Those last 2 albums.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, do you guys want to even comment on the lip syncing thing? I mean, that was just like constant. That was can we haters.
Can we finish up? I don't think we talked about Monster. Can we finish up Monster?
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up the discography since we started from the first one. When Monster first came out, I was like, okay, this isn't bad. The production's terrible. Like Zeus said, every instrument bleeds together. There's no separation of sound. And I went through a phase where I thought the album was terrible. And then I listened to it again, and I'm like, some of these songs are actually really good. Back to the Stone Age, Take Me Down Below, Last Chance, Hell or Hallelujah. It's like, it's kick-ass Kiss. It's party Kiss. It's I Want to Get Laid Kiss. I like the Tommy Thayer song, Out of This World. it's just the production sounds like ass.
Long Way
But-
Down's good.
Long Way Down. Yeah, it's the song. To me, I think the songs are much better than the Sonic Boom songs.
Wow.
He's wrong.
He's wrong.
That's why we have a show, Eric.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So you just to comment though on the lip syncing thing. I mean, should Paul have just step down longer?
Zeus.
It is what it is at this point. Either
Yeah.
you want to just be a miserable fuck the rest of your life and pick out stupid shit just to oh, that's not really him. That's not that. That's not, like, all right, buddy. Like, you know what? Do I wish he could still sing like he could in the 80s? Yes, but he can't. I'm still going to take the show. But in general, because he got so much shit, that's why I think he wanted to wrap this shit up. He didn't want more focus on everyone over-examining, is that Paul singing and dealing with this shit, playing to tracks and doing all that shit. He just wants this done, and people talk about his legacy and sell some art and ride his bicycle and eat gelato. Like, he don't give a fuck.
I tell you, at the end of the day, man, I thank him, all four of the original guys, all the guys who were there for those years. But Paul, had the one of the fucking best voices in rock.
Oh, absolutely.
For a long time, like a long time. And he's a great showman, and he brought it every night, as did Gene. And those two guys, man, they were just, I always rooted for them in the 80s because it was like all these bands that grew up watching them were bigger than they were, but yet it was like, they were the guys you'd salute and say,
yeah,
totally.
Hey, without you guys, we're not here. Like Poison and so many bands. I mean, it's like that bad. You hate Poison. I like Poison.
Just
I hate that they're still relevant. That's what I hate.
It's okay. It's okay. They have some fun songs.
They should have gone the way of like fucking Bullet Boys or something like that.
Because of them, they took down a lot of other good bands.
Right.
Yep.
Because people throw them in that silly category.
Yep.
Mind blow. My brother's a teacher. He teaches second grade. And the other night he's telling me the kids, he's asking, what are your favorite bands? Poison. Like,
that's terrible.
That's
bad parenting. That's bad parenting.
That kid's getting his ass kicked.
That kid's getting beat up with his own shoe in the playground.
Oh, it's like, whoa, man, that's pretty okay. Yeah, okay.
He's gonna get beat up with Ricky Rocket's fucking purse.
Ricky Rocket.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This was awesome. Thanks so much. I know I kept you longer than we thought. We're gonna do 60 minutes, and it's like,
that's okay.
We could do this all day.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
Kiss.
you.
There it is, man. Raise Your Glass is a celebration of 50 years of Kiss songs by celebrities, musicians, and fans. And it's out now. And you can find it wherever books are sold. And where can people find you guys online? Plug the podcast. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That you can find all of our information. We're very active on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, very active on there. You can buy our book on Amazon. There's a link directly on our landing page for our website. You can buy direct from there. So please check it out. Raise Your Glasses. If you're a Kiss fan and you don't have this book, you are absolutely missing out. So please check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Zeus, anything you want to add?
No, Eric, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to the great James Campion who introduced us.
Yes.
We could have done this all night, but I appreciate you giving it so much time.
Thank you, Eric.
And we'll have you on sometime to talk some Kiss.
Kiss. So you want to talk Van Halen? You just say the word, guys.
Love it. Eric, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time, buddy.